what's up, guys? Coming to you today because I'm really not feeling that well. I swear last night felt like someone else was in my room with me. And I mean, I've told you about the sexual harassment thing. Babe, turn down the music a little bit. Babe, turn it down a little bit. Turn it down. I swear there's a prick mark on my left arm. And I'm like, this is not the first time that it's happened. And it's creeping me to freak out. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just freaking you out. There's a lot of different new ways they have of, assaulting women. I don't know. I hate to alarm women, but at the same time, if I don't say something, then it's just as bad. I told you about the situation with the police. I think that they're really just in on it and just as corrupt as they can be, as they've been corrupt. So this is the situation they want black women to be in. So it's just so alarming to me, being a single parent, it's never been as bad as it is right now. I mean, it was pretty bad in the 90s, believe it or not. I moved a couple times. But I mean, this is like, they just think this is purge time. And I'm really, I'm saying, you think I'm not an advocate for gun legislation, because of this or that. But I'm going to tell you why. Because if all the bad guys have the guns and we don't have any way of protecting ourselves, then what sense would that make? You don't want to be victimized out here in this game, and all these guns that are out here are, dirty, most of them, so they're punishing people who are getting guns legally, and most of the ones on the streets, they're not even air guns or anything like that, or, you know what I'm saying, not air guns, but you know what I'm saying, the ones that they make. I mean, they're the ones that have the mags on them that are illegal, that they're creating for the handguns, and the ones the drug dealers and the gangbangers have. And we're the ones that are getting victimized. It doesn't make sense. I saw a video online, and it was these kids just going crazy. I guess they looked like they were in San Francisco or something. And one of them was white, but the rest of them were black. They had like literally machine guns underneath like a bridge sort of thing, and underpass. And they were jacking this guy for his car and telling him to get out and give him his wallet. Maybe he drove down the wrong street or something. And they were just screaming and going off like this was their version of the purge. And this literally happened, and the guy was commenting on it, who was the vlogger, like, he's a black guy. He was like, this is the reason why we need to ensure that we have our guns, because you don't want to sit down here and be the one with this guy going crazy over here like he's in a movie, and he's taking everything from you. It's not just about the car. For some of us, it's our livelihood. And this is something that's devastating for black women. And they expect for us to sit here and keep our mouths closed. I'm just not the type. And if it's someone who, again, is internalizing misogyny, I say good luck to you and good day to you. I'm not going to go put, unless I'm visiting another country and it's customary, I'm not going to put on any type of hijab, or from time to time I wear a scarf, but I'm not going to do it, mandatorily. I'm not going to go and bow to men's every desires and wishes. These people are nasty crooks. Nasty. And, stupid people. Like, I had a guy that come do maintenance, and I had requested him last week, and no one contacted me. So I contacted the property manager people again. And this redneck shows up at the door. And I'm like, redneck, they're supposed to be in New York now because they switched management. And now it's supposed to be under this Hispanic, lady. Like we had a choice. And, they're just as crooked as the other. I don't know who to blame. I don't know if they got miscommunication. That was a redneck. I don't know. And, it was the redneck's fault. It was their fault. Because sometimes they can be just as racist. And that's just the truthful part of it. I hate to be that way, but as I've said before, I've lived in many places. If you've lived where there's a number of Hispanic or Latino, whichever they prefer calling themselves, persons, they can be extremely racist. If they feel like they're at an advantage, they definitely are going to be racist. So, I don't know. He didn't call, didn't do anything. Dropped up. Okay, I'm here for your parents. I'm like, what? racism is racism. Like, who was more racist here? But you can clearly see it looked like a KKK scenario or some mess, and I'm just like, this is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. I've never seen. I mean, North Carolina's stupid. Don't get me wrong. Everybody in Virginia, where I'm from, knows North Carolina's stupid. It's also cheap. So, you know, we're not expecting for the best, but we're definitely not expecting to go back to circa 1980 sometime. You know what I mean? I don't even think this is 84. This is not even Orwell. This is not Orwellian. It's not even there yet. It's 1980. You know, the aliens haven't landed yet. Or have they? You know what I'm saying? Because these folks crazy. And you be like, okay. You know, I did not come all this way to be bothered. But wherever I go, they bother me because there's always sexual harassment. There's always racism. And if you're dealing with the reality of the fact, until the situation is resolved, where black women get the respect they're supposed to get, we're still going to always put up with that. And then we're always going to have someone playing the devil's advocate who will take a quick buck and just go against the fact that you know, it's not in black women's nature. They'll just instigate, you know, as long as they get paid, get some attention, what have you. And that's what the problem is. At one point, we had eliminated all of the immaturity, all of the black women trying to void the narrative that violence is violence, whether you interpret it as intersectional, whether you interpret it as misogynoir, whether you interpret it as incel type violence, which is really on the rise. It's been so many terrorist attacks by these so-called incels. You know, I'm not saying it's a CIA operation or anything, but it seems kind of weird that men, grown men who can't have sex or don't want to have sex, are blowing people up. You know what I mean? It's just something absurd. They're terrorists, but you know, in the way they're terrorizing women in this country, they are terrorists. They are domestic terrorists, just based upon that fact, without them actually having bombs and all of these things. So yeah, it's just it's the word I would use probably would be demonic. It's just outrageous. It's a situation where, and that's what I'm talking about, little girls that go along with this agenda and instigate, who are jealous and immature. Demonic. And I mean, make of it what you will, say what you will about it. It's not normal. It's not. That amount of jealousy, that amount of envy, that amount of stupidity, that amount of, you know, audacious ignorance, it's not normal. So anyway, yeah, it's just like, these people are dumb as I don't even know the words. I hate to use the word dumb, okay? Let's just say they are unintelligent as they can be. If they think I'm going to sit around every time a man gets his feelings hurt, oh, let's go find Alisha, you know, as if they're terrified of women. They may be incels. Now, I mean, I don't give myself credit enough for the things that I do, but there are some people out there who know my name and who are intimidated by it. You know, I don't try to intimidate people, but they may be intimidated just by the fact that I'm not intimidated by them. And that could be man, woman, child, whatever. So it's very immature, very ignorant. It's you know, it is what it is. But I just like to catch the son of a bitch because they think this cute. Excuse my language. This shit is cute. It's not cute. It's not cute. Sexual harassment is ugly. Sexual assault is ugly. Stalking is uglier. It's I don't know. It's so concerning to me because the arrogance is growing, and I told you this. Some of you guys have followed me for a while, and you know, I said this last year, I said this year before last. The more you keep allowing for this to happen, the worse it's going to get. These people, I don't know if it's a cult, I don't know if it's brainwashing. I don't know if it's just stupidity, but they're arrogant. They want to worry you about what you're doing in your life because they have low self-esteem in theirs. And they're going to continue to keep bogarting. You know what I mean? Into your space. Like someone trying to inch over into your lane but don't want to turn on the signal, and then swipes over in front of you when you're driving, and you're like, yeah. Admittedly, I have given that person a finger in the past, but what does that do now, right? We all know that's a Freemason symbol, and it's not really what we think it is, but it still just makes us feel better to do something. So that's why I feel like it would make me feel better to do something. I like to throw the son of a biscuit eater in jail because I know that there's no gaslighting. And I said it a million damn times that I'm ever going to be privileged or privy to. You know what I'm saying? When I say privilege, I don't know if that's the right word. I would say that I would honestly believe, because I'm just not that type of person. This is a person that's playing pretend. And I mean, I tend to be so nice. I don't speak to a lot of people. I don't know a lot of people, but I am very straight up with what I do and what I say. And even though I'm nice, people know I'm not to be played with. So this has to be someone who has a narcissistic personality disorder or something that's even worse than that. You know, someone who has criminal intent along with the narcissistic personality disorder, which is not unusual. Yes, sister, I'm almost finished.
Should I get cake, sister?
Not yet. She's almost off. She's not off yet.
Okay.
Just hang tight for a couple minutes. I'm picking up my daughter from work. Okay, so everybody knows this kind has been harming everybody. And on top of all the things I have to do, I have to worry about ignorant people stalking me, and it's disturbing. It's not a game. If some of these young girls, I think they're telling them it's a game. You know, these people are traffickers. This is not a game. If anybody tells you that disrespecting another woman of color for any reason whatsoever is a game, they're lying to you. And these insecure little girls, I hate to keep saying this, okay, but this girl looks like she's screaming insecurity, that I hate you, scissor girl, stuff like that. They love stuff like that. And the reason why they love stuff like that is because she focuses all of her attention onto men and takes all of her value away from herself. If she is a cisgender woman, I don't even know. And, you know, that's not my business. I'll put it to you that way. There's unfortunately, a lot of transgender aggression that's being pushed through to cisgender women, and the goal is to confuse women who are cisgender and have them actually promoting misogyny against themselves without realizing it, especially in the music industry. And I don't have a statement on transgender people. You know how I am in my feminism. I tend to be, unfortunately, against transgender people necessarily dominating feminism, because that takes the woman out of woman. We do need to have cisgender women to represent themselves. Everybody wants representation. That's not privilege or any type of, statement saying we're better than someone else. It's just that we need to have a voice ourselves. Everyone wants proper representation. So, you won't want me going in there saying something about transgender people or standing up for someone who did not allow for me to be their spokesperson. That type of pushiness is akin to an assault, right? And that's something that's usually pushed by males, regardless of if the transgender person is male or female. There's a patriarchal male somewhere in the background who's pushing that agenda. And, be what you're going to be. I don't care. I don't care what sex you are, what gender you are. That's not my problem. That's not my concern. Live your life. But don't hinder upon someone else's when you're doing so. And if you are using any type of violence or aggression in that manner, then we know that something's wrong. We know that you're doing this in vain. So anyway, love you, do what you do. I don't judge, I don't stigmatize, I don't have issues, like that. I don't even concern myself with it. But unfortunately, in places here like North Carolina, Okay, so I'm back. I had to pick my daughter up from work. So as I was saying, North Carolina in particular has issues since the early 80s because we had many people in Virginia from North Carolina that moved to Virginia from North Carolina back in the day. We know that they can be trifling, and so are other areas in the Old South. They have a lot of perverted old men. They promote patriarchy. They do a lot of things that are considered really disgusting, and they are promoting this onto the youth. And what I've seen, because this didn't transgress this way in Virginia for obvious reasons, is they're taking black women for granted and disrespecting them, and it's no big surprise. Now, where we came from, you know, black women did have sorry about that, a lot of say so in what we do. And that's because they were getting their educations. They've gotten their educations. They were in the universities. They still are. City councils and so forth. I posted about what was happening back in Portsmouth, Virginia, for you guys who want to take a look at that. I think they're about to oust that vice mayor that was supporting that weed concert or whatever. I'm like, I mean, he has an earring in his ear. I know, supposedly he interned for Bobby Scott in the Senate, and he's supposed to be a hotshot from Virginia State University, but he doesn't act like it. He just looks like he's unqualified. But the thing is, we've had a lot of that going on where they've been trying to replace what they consider to be a corrective form, you know, of activism, correct some of the things that happen in white supremacy by doing negative things, which internalize that form of white supremacy, such as putting all dark-skinned people in things, which is a worse form of discrimination than even what they've done, or putting people who aren't necessarily right for a position in a position because they feel like it makes it look good, and you know, ousting black women who are qualified, which is absolutely absurd. So that's just a story of what's going on. It's a lot of just, you know, who's the elder, who's the older, and who's actually down with the agenda, and who's sincere. Some of the people, I think it was Black Magic, he's a YouTuber. His name is Black Magic 363, I believe. And he's got a channel, he talks about metaphysics a lot, and he had a show. I really respect that guy. He does good work. There's not too many black people go into metaphysics on a higher level, and I appreciate that. You know, it's not always about science. Sometimes it goes into the spiritual, and sometimes it goes into metaphysical areas as well if you're doing your studying correctly. So, you know, that's someone I would consider a very, very smart individual. However, as I said before, we're dealing with, his discussion was who are the elders and who are just the elders. You know, no one knows because we have bad leadership in the African American community because they were so busy running behind the Beyoncés and the Jay-Z's that they totally skipped our generation for the falsehood. You know, they fell for the okie doke. So now everybody's scrambling trying to figure out what to do while these people are attacking the real ones, as I like to call us, and making it into a purge movie. You know, it's ridiculous. There's rampant racism, more colonialism, what really is called neo-colonialism at this point. Sexual assault at levels higher than even the 1980s, which is absolutely absurd. Police corruption all around, and I've said all of that, and I'm not going to go into it anymore. I'm just super pissed about how much of a downfall we're having. I mean, the economy is bad, sure, but the economy, you know, has been bad in the past, but it's never been this bad. Not spiritually, not intellectually. We've never had it this bad. You know, with no leadership and stupid people, you know, giving us an agenda that we know is going to be fatal for us. And when I see, personally, things that start happening to me where people feel like they can get away with it, and it's been going on for a while, but they're just inching up, you know, just like the serial killer would inch up piece by piece. And it's like, no, not me. I mean, I don't know. I don't know why people think they would gaslight me when they know who I am. But it's just one of those things. This is arrogance. It is immaturity. It is stupidity. And I don't really want to comment on it anymore. I want to file a lawsuit. I want this person to go to jail. You know, I don't want back in the day where they used to beat the crap out of them. You know, one of the reasons why VA didn't, where we were in VA, I should say, in the lower portion in Hampton Roads, we didn't have a lot of this, is because they used violence, because those people were projecting violence onto black women. And I don't want to go through that again. I mean, they use physical violence as a metaphor, right? I mean, it was a purposeful metaphor to let them know you're projecting violence, so we're going to project violence on to you, which isn't right, because all violence begets other violence, but that's something still they haven't learned. And I think that until they learn that, we're going to keep going through this cycle. And I for one, seeing the younger girls out there, these scissors, I hate you, and all this crazy stuff, and lonely little girls, I think that that's what avenue we're going down. I think that there's a lot of transgression, it's a lot of immaturity, it's a lot of miseducated people, and I know it's a mistake. So I hope that people are paying attention and understanding that it's time for this to end. I'm just frustrated. And I'll talk to you guys later. I gotta go. Hope your day goes well. Say bye, Jazz.
Bye.
Bye, Just Adora. Say bye, Just Adora. Alright, bye. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.